Hi, my name is Brian Carter, and today I'm going to be doing my persuasive speech. Uh, I'm in Com 209. The class is public speaking. I'm in semester April 2014. And with that, we're going to be, my subject matter today is going to be underage teenage drinking and trying to get the host liability expansion laws changed for liability of parents facilitating underage drinking. And with that, we're going to get started. We know the dangers of teenage drinking, but what would you think if the laws were legislated to hold parents and teens accountable legally beyond the social host liability laws? To expand further on my point, what if jail time was associated with teenage drinking for both parents and their children if the child is found to have been drinking at any point, regardless of the circumstance? Let us take a look into this national epidemic by examining some statistics and facts about this issue. According to the Center for Disease Control, CDC, alcohol is the most commonly abused substance among youth in the United States. It is one of the leading causes of abuse of other drugs, car crashes, unwanted or unplanned pregnancies, high-risk suicide, and homicide. There has been found evidence of damaged nerve tissue in the brains of teens that drink. Researchers believe this damage negatively affects attention spans in boys and girls' ability to comprehend and interpret visual information. The adolescent brain is still undergoing generational processes that render it vulnerable to some of the effects of substances. In other words, key areas of the brain are still under construction during the adolescent years and are more sensitive to the toxic effects of drugs and alcohol. This speech will demonstrate and have a new approach in solving our teenage drinking problem by introducing legal ramifications to both parents and teen who allow this infraction to be committed. The Centers for Disease Control concluded that there are factors which affect both genders, including huge prevalence in alcohol in American culture, more absent parents, increased rates of stress, anxiety, and depression among youth, and access to more spending money than previous generations. The increase in girls' use of alcohol is influenced by several factors. Increasingly, girls aged 12 to 17 report higher stress levels than boys. This stress is linked to interpersonal relationship distress between peers and family and worries about achievement. Furthermore, parents grossly underestimate the risk their preteen daughters' exposures to the influence of alcohol and misjudge seriousness of the issue. Girls are now starting to drink at younger ages. According to the Center for Disease Control, CDC, in the 1960s, only 7% of girls reported having their first drink between the ages of 10 and 14. Now, nearly 25% of the girls report having their first drink before the age of 13. Women are more sensitive to alcohol-induced brain damage than men. We know that if women drink excessively over time, they experience a reduction in the size of the part of the brain called the corpus callosum. The function of the corpus callosum is linked to two cerebral hemispheres and allow two sides of the brain to intercommunicate, whereas alcoholic men do not. Younger girls will become intoxicated more quickly due to lower body weight and metabolism. Thus, they are more susceptible to alcohol poisoning, which can reach life-threatening levels of intoxication faster than males of the same age. Females dependent on alcohol report significantly greater depression, anxiety, and other psychological problems compared to their male counterparts. This may be fair in clinical conclusions, but the male counterpart has their place in this negative behavior. Also, the average teen boy first tries alcohol at age 11. For teens, girls is 13. Some researchers speculate that teens are more vulnerable to addiction because the pleasure center of the brain matures before the brain responsible for impulse control and executive decision making. In other words, teenagers' capacity for pleasure reaches adult proportions well before their capacity for sound decision making. Again, this is an epidemic and we must change our societal direction in dealing with this problem. Currently, under the social host liability laws, parents are responsible for underage drinking in their home, but these laws exist today are not solving the problem. It's only slowing it down. These laws should be expanded to include underage drinking in any situation and in any capacity. This law is very dynamic in its current form. It even applies to tavern owners who serve patrons too much alcohol and they leave their establishment and injure someone else while intoxicated. There are many examples where a plaintiff was seeking to expand a state social host liability law by creating a duty of care to an underage party host who does not supply the alcohol, but does provide the place where teens are permitted to drink. The court said that social host is liable only when the host serves alcohol or controls the supply of alcohol. The court, therefore, rejected the plaintiff's attempts to expand the law and even put greater burden on the homeowners and parents with teenage children. This must be a national movement to make this a priority issue to highly encourage families to obey the current law. We must expand the current law in its form today. Despite many previous case rulings, one should be reminded that there are penalties for furnishing or serving alcohol to underage guests. In this brief speech, we learned that the factors which both affect teen genders, including absent parents, increasing rates of stress, anxiety, and depression among youth, and access to more spending money less than previous generations. We also discussed social host liability laws where parents are responsible for underage drinking in their home, and these laws exist today are not solving the problem. It is only slowing it down. Now that we've discussed the dangers of underage drinking and the liabilities involved with parents, maybe it's time to push for change in the current law to further save lives. These laws should be expanded to include underage drinking in any situation and in any capacity. The concept is truly life or death. Thank you.